message that he wants to, share with the world.
Hold on, before you play this.
Yeah.
You went to medical school,
I
right?
know, yes. Yes, I did.
All right.
And spent many, many years even afterwards training and teaching, and this is what it was all about. Thanks, Ari.
Perfect, Drew. Maybe you could diagnose this guy.
All right.
Hello, Sicko Talkers out there. I have a new phone. I've been out of commission for a while because I had to get a new phone.
Foam?
And I would like to start back by talking about me.
Oh, good.
This title segment is gonna called I'm Not Your Average Guy.
It's gonna called? Who is this dude?
You've shown me him
and the
before,
reason why I'm
haven't you?
doing this
Yes.
is for 3 reasons.
Okay. Oh,
One,
jeez.
because there are women out there
Yeah?
who say they're interested and they want to get to know me, but they're either playing games or they're not sure what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, I
He's
wouldn't
about
be
to
sure.
get mad, yeah.
Second reason I'm doing this is because a lot of men out there have lost their moxie. They've forgotten how to be men. They're terrified.
He's looking for an excuse to...
And I'm hoping
He wants you to give
this
him the
will
okay.
give them their moxie back.
Okay.
He's going to
By talking
advise
about me.
By talking about me, I'm going to help all men. Oh my
Second,
God, he's fantastic.
Third reason is
Thank you for your
because
service, sir.
There are a lot of women out there who've lost their way too.
Oh, yeah?
They
How did
become
they get their
arrogant.
moxie? Oh.
They become too prideful. They become full of themselves. Feminists, as they were called. Some women out there are not like that, and hats off to you. But hopefully, after this video of talking about me, will knock you down a peg or two.
Oh boy.
Oh,
This
man.
is a great
This is
strategy, dude.
wild.
Me talking about me will lead by an example and help my fellow men out there gain their moxie back.
Moxie.
Because
I mean, this is the video you
men should not
discover
be afraid
after
of
the
women.
shooting.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
and women need to be knocked down a peg or
What's a
two.
20-something-year-old man talking about moxie? It's like, was he from
Yeah.
the Borscht Belt, the 60s, the 40s? Weird. But here's the thing.
He's got to get laid.
Right. But he does really bring up a really interesting... I'm not endorsing anything this dude is saying.
No, you can endorse him.
No, I'm not. But because we've seen him before, and it's even more. He was more disturbing last time I saw him. But he is putting his finger on something that I've been thinking about lately. There is something weird going on between men and women, young men and women, that has never happened in my lifetime before.
What's going on?
That statistically, what we're seeing is about 10% of men are having a great time, and 90% are really like lonely and miserable.
You know who the 10% are?
Who?
Blacks.
Okay.
They're
Well,
really still loving their lives.
not Jews.
No.
Okay, but the point is that it's there's this division occurring, and
Yeah.
and it's to some extent it's happening with women too, because women, if you're
Less
not,
sex, right?
it's less sex, but there's also less of an understanding of what a relationship offers. Or you're an example of it. You don't want to have kids. You don't want to do it, and people are sort of turning away from intimacy and sex. Both. I get it. The men have a basic orientation that they want sex if a relationship happens, great. And women generally, motivationally, have a relationship like, hey, I'd like a relationship. If a sex happens, great. Those priorities are all distorted. People are not able to kind of get their needs met. They're not understanding each other. There's a lot of. I'm not sure what it is yet.
So in Thailand, the women there are motivated to have sex earlier because if you make a dude wait 4 or 5 dates, they're like, I'm just gonna go get one.
Right.
So
right.
You really just can't.
So it's a
say you need to
marketplace.
work for this.
It's a marketplace thing.
And with dating apps or
Yes.
fuck apps,
Yes.
it's really like a guy can find 6, 7 women a week. So it's like, why would he ever be fooled?
Is it
into
that? Is it? But some guys can, and some get none.
Some get none, but
imagine
but
that.
the vibe across the country is this is just how you do it. There's no reason to go and find love or anything like
Have a
that.
relationship.
Yeah, you're in the world even if you're not part of it.
And then women sort of don't need men. Like they're supporting themselves. They do whatever. They do their own thing. They're you know what I mean?
Do you think any of it's like the overhyping in like the news or media or whatever you want to call it of like intergender betrayals? Like you sexually harassed me or anything, so everyone's just too scared to even
it
try.
started there. because my kids were in college when that was all going on, and I watched the male college students scared shitless.
Yeah.
They didn't want to be seen as any of that. They wanted to be a good person. They would never talk to a woman if they were drinking, for being seen.
They're just
for,
like, I can't.
no,
get out of
I
here."
might be, or if she's drinking,
Which is when normally that's when you start up.
that's
We met at a party, we were both drinking, and then now we've been together 7 years.
So I don't know. It's like a new realignment needs to occur or something. And by the way, the voice messages out there. So send me more on this. I stop talking about my anticholinergic delirium and weed. We've had enough of that. Let's get on to what is making people happy, unhappy. What do you see out there? I'm interested because it's feeling like there's a realignment occurring.
Yeah, realignment. So it's uncomfortable until it gets realigned.
Exactly. And I think some people are suffering. I think they're.
I see it all the time where it's like, that guy was a creep, he asked me out, and I'm like, and then when you said no, what happened? He's like, he went away, and I was like, oh, you need to not say that.
Yes.
That's making every dude unable to.
Well, and man, and the workplace is a mess for men. Everything's kind of a mess for men, and they are feeling diminished.
Yeah, and then you hear a bunch of people, the response is, oh, boo-hoo, oh, you're having a hard time now? But it's like, these are individuals. They're not a part of a group.
That is exactly it. That these individuals are feeling diminished and lonely and sort of unworthwhile. I see it. I interact with these age groups, 20s and 30s right now, and it's breaking my heart, frankly. Some of them are fine. Some are fine. Some are great.
Yeah.
Some are having a good old time. But there's a large number, and a way abnormally large number for youth. People that should be enjoying themselves and hanging out and doing stuff. So
I'm not your average guy.
I remember a young comic hitting on me 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, somewhere in that range. And I was like, I'm like, this might be a power dynamic thing. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't.
yeah.
And then later when my other buddy's like, oh, I hooked up with her, she's great, she's cool. And it's like, yeah, right. A consenting adult wants to hook up.
Well,
What are we, some of it's just so hazy.
it's hazy and weird, and no one wants to be a bad person.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to do what's right. And if you're imagine being 22 or something, being so confused by it, and then you go on the dating apps and you can't get anywhere. You're the percentage that doesn't.
And you're making this. You're making this guy.
Is there more with him? Is there more to be learned with his
Oh yeah,
diatribe?
there's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Oh God.
Here we go.
Here we go.
What's the thing people drop?
So
Oh, this guy.
I've been running around doing errands, but as promised, I am doing a segment talking about me.
No shit. Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not your average
But
man.
hang on a second. But this is where they go, right? This is where
The internet.
Well, not only that, it's like I can't figure out why these women don't like me, why I'm alone. Oh, I know. I'm not being assertive enough, and I need to be me, be a man, and this just looks sad and cool. A cool guy.
I mean, he's turning to strangers to ask.
Not to ask to help them. He's helping strangers by being
Wow.
sort of being a. They're so confused.
What's the thing people release? What's the word for it when you release
Pheromones?
No, like a statement that you release, like a
Like a manifesto.
Manifesto.
This is
That's-
manifesto.
yeah,
Yes,
it's got
it is.
manifesto.
Which is why you said before the shooting.
Yeah.
So keep going.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about my interests and hobbies and goals.
So you're wearing a shirt that says Civil War.
No, I think it's like a
so
Star
here's
Wars
what I'm interested
or
in.
something.
I'm interested in drawing
Maybe it does say Civil War.
yeah.
You're right.
drawing
Holy shit.
for a long time now.
Good,
I'm
great.
really good at it.
Yeah, so was Hitler.
Don't want to brag, but I am really good.
This is like what he should be telling his mom at age 14. Like, Mom, am I
Yeah.
good? I like what I'm doing. Well,
And as soon as I clean my house up, organize and
you
everything,
see why I get
tend to get
sad when I see
myself
this shit? I get sad.
chess.
The Dom
so
is
I can work on my
delighted.
portfolio,
Tom is
'cause I tend to
delighted.
rebuild my portfolio because
Christina makes
when
him
I
feel
was
worse,
younger,
laughs at him.
I mean, he's at
not-
the coffee shop behind you.
Yeah.
These guys, you just don't know that you're running into these people all the time. In New York, you realize
Yes.
they're just barely holding on.
Yes.
They look at you, they touch their pocket, and you don't even know they're holding a gun, and they just go, nah. And then they get on. You have no idea how close you were every single
I
day.
don't
And
want
this-
to brag, but I am really good.
This makes me so sad. It really does. Is there much more?
Yeah, there's a little bit more.
All right.
Too long ago, also.
You gotta get this guy a
I had
podcast on
tons of
YMH
drawings that
Network.
were drawn, and then they mysteriously disappeared,
Oh, imagine that.
or they were destroyed, and I don't want to get back into drawing unless I can actually protect my artwork to ensure that it never gets stolen again
Who
and
what the?
never gets
You lost
destroyed
it.
again. So once I get a chest, a big it's like treasure chest with a lock on it and everything. I'll get back in the drawing. I'll rebuild my portfolio, and I'll go to art school and
Okay, good. Go to
over
art
some
school.
kind of art class. To
Go.
get better at it. I make
Go
enough money
now.
so I can afford it.
Go now, dude. Go to art school.
Is there any way to dub that speech over a Hitler speech? Just have Hitler just saying this, to a crowd.
Oh my God.
I mean, if anyone could do it, the production staff here at the
My
YMH
goodness.
Network.
So it makes me sad that is
God
suffering.
damn.
It's a really sad person.
I mean, you're gonna get a subpoena to Duff to be like, we need that footage.
Yeah. So
Nemesis.
Who has a nemesis? How grandiose do you have to be to have a nemesis?
You said femicist.
Feminist.
Feminist. They need
Strong women are his enemies.
It's interesting. Feminist nemesis is a feminist.
Nemesis.
So this is a great example.
Fucking bitches with their fucking confidence. What, they have jobs now?
Yeah, this is what we were talking about. I mean, you know what
You think
mentioned?
maybe that guy needs a little weed?
Maybe. You mentioned Corolla earlier, and you know what he would say about guys like that? He goes,
What?
"You need to go do something with your hands. You need to go
Yeah.
dig up a ditch. Go
Build something.
build something."
He draws.
Yeah, that's why I said go to art school. Okay,
Yeah.
give me the female rapper. What's going on there?
Yo, what's up?
Oh, boy.
I'm looking for a female rapper
What
that lives
shape
here
is
in
this?
Pueblo that wants to record some music with me. So yeah, get at me. Cause I'm home all day
I'm afraid I bet I
and
know
everything.
why.
and everything.
Plus,
Oh,
we could do some video shoots too
He doesn't
for
know.
music.
just for music.
So wow, that's all I gotta say. So peace out.
I'm hoping that the appearance of his head is something related to the angle of the camera or something.
No, it's so
But if that's-
triangle.
If that's really him, he ever seen pictures of Beetlejuice from
Yeah.
Stern?
Yep.
Yeah,
He looks like an Incredibles
Yeah.
mixed with Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And with a little Kreischer in there.
Do you, do you have any Beetlejuice pictures you can kind of throw up there
Oh,
for
yeah.
people? Because it's called microcephaly. That's the name. Or you just pick up microcephaly, but Beetlejuice, he'll come right up
I
there.
remember all these things.
Yeah, just remember I went to medical school.
Oh, yeah, right.
There he is. God, I love him.
Beetlejuice.
There it is. So you see the shape of the head there?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Microcephaly?
Microcephaly. It's literally underdevelopment of the brain. And I'm hoping that guy doesn't have that. I'm hoping it's just the camera angle. He is what we call non-neuronormative. God bless him.
What's non-neuronormative? Is that the new retard? Non-neuronormative?
And I'm sure he is home all day because it'd be hard to find work if you're...
I like when he just throws in and everything.
oh, poor guy. See, I feel sad. You see how I feel looking at all this stuff? I feel sad.
But if you feel happy, that's not you.
Other people are welcome to feel that way. I
Feel sad for humanity.
get to see these people in real life, and it's
Any chance we hook up those last two people with each other?
the guy that's talking about
Start a
himself.
group? Maybe play Hellfire?
Give me another voicemail before I wrap it up. I need something to clear my palate.
Hey, Dr. Vu.
There we
Hey,
go.
Bruce Boyd. I had a quick question. So I was on my period, and I
Ew.
really did not want to be on my period.
Yeah,
that
I get it.
week we had a huge event that I wanted to go to.
What was your
but
event?
yeah,
Not
so
bleeding?
My boyfriend and I had sex while on my period, and he comes in me, and somehow my period stopped. Now, this was like 2 days into my period, which has never happened before, ever. My period normally lasts 5 to 7-ish days, and it just stopped at day 2. What is that about? And can I just do that all the time? Like, is that a thing? Just on the eating. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
A lot of things can affect menstrual flow and menstrual timing and whatnot. I can't think of a mechanism for what you're describing. You'd have to try it a few more times to see if it
Do you
really
think
did
maybe
happen.
he had a high intake in his diet of cement and maybe it spackled the inside of her pussy?
Spackle, really interesting. I like how your mind works.
Yeah.
Or maybe he'd been smoking a lot of meth or something, and that sort of sort of
Stopped it.
stopped it.
Maybe hit that back wall just right.
Or maybe so he cleaned it out.
Yeah, he cleaned out that
Yeah,
pussy,
so-
dude.
so- wow.
Stop the period with your cock.
I like the way Ari brings it at the end of the show.
I mean, the first lady must have to say this to her husband. Like, your dick stops my period.
So I doubt that it will happen again, but it'd be interesting if it did. The only way you can really stop your period is taking hormones, and people do that to time things up for weddings and things like that. They will do that to sort of. And by the way, you
Can you make a tea of something that'll start your period early to get it out of the way before a big event? Like not peppermint, basil?
I don't know, but that worries me because you can create irregularities in the menstrual period. But you know, there are birth control pills you can take continuously, so you never have your period.
Nice.
You don't have to have a period, right? There's nothing about the period that has to happen. So if you don't grow the endometrial lining, it doesn't have to slough off, and the pills can suppress that.
Yeah, they should do that. It's disgusting.
You don't like talking about periods?
No, I mean, to have one. I don't know how women haven't figured out just get a shot and just never have. It's such a fucking negative.
They can do that.
It's just bleeding out of your fucking pussy for a week, this lady. Not even for 3 days, like regular humans. A fucking week. What? A quarter of a fucking month, dude. She sees the moon coming and she's in fear. We're like, oh, this will be nice to hike. Guys, what a terrible life.
Look what women put up with.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Just to get that dick.
Doesn't it increase
Worth it.
Oh, no, it's not to get the dick, it's to
Oh,
get the baby.
Ugh.
And so doesn't it increase your esteem for them?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're putting up with a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
But your point is well taken that you can do a thing. Let me just say that I'm not a super fan of all the hormonal manipulations because what it does to women, the food and whatnot is not enough is made of that.
If they did a little research where it wouldn't affect your hormones, if one woman can become a scientist already and fucking research it so it wouldn't affect your fucking mood all the time in those periods. We ended racism. We could do anything.
Let's leave it at that. We can do anything. Ari, where can people see you, find you?
You can see me online. My new special, Ari Shaffir Jew. It's right there right now. I'll be in Pittsburgh, and Seattle, Vancouver, and doing a big show at the Beacon in March. I don't know when tickets are on sale, but everything's at arishafir.com.
Beacon in
New York City,
New York
biggest
City.
show I've ever done.
Wow,
I'm excited. March
see that.
24th.
You see how he did that? No, right here, right now.
What does that mean?
Find that right here, right now. That's a famous phrase from this show.
Right here, right now.
Yeah.
What is that?
Right now.
Home here now.
Home here. Do you want to? Seems to want to see it.
Yeah.
Do we have access to it?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Okay. So this is one of the first
I love
things
the catchphrase. I'll hear an occasional YMH catchphrase, and I'll just see it a bunch. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like feathering it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does this mean?
Feathering
Until
it
you
was
figure out what it is.
Feathering it was a guy named Fed Smoker. Who was
Yeah,
a
rest in
spearman,
peace.
and he was lighting his hair on fire.
And he's feathering it. that
Feathering
way?
it to cut it, lighting it on fire.
That guy
and,
ruled.
And this is Robert Paul Champagne, who was one of the first videos I ever saw when I came in here.
Nobody stopped me. Is that him?
No. He is a guy that, again, I felt sad when I saw him. I actually went and visited him in his home in the Upper East Side. Oh, yes. There's a whole video online. You can see me. Let's just say we didn't air the second part of it because it gets a little
too sad.
intense.
Oh, my God.
We did air the second part?
Yeah,
Okay,
we've talked about this a couple
I'm sorry. Where can they see it?
On YouTube. Just look up.
Oh, it's just available just
yeah,
for
Robert
everybody.
Paul Champagne.
that's where my special
and
Jew is.
Dr. Drew, or Robert Paul Champagne and Josh Potter. You'll be able to find it. But
So Josh went in there, and I thought I want to know more about this guy. So I went in there and interviewed him. He is a lovely man. He's a lovely man. But this was the first video I was exposed to.
Black guys who love to fuck and fuck good. If you're a hot black guy and you want to fuck me at $23.95, if you want to move in, you can move in, but you gotta fuck me. And I need to be fucked a lot, man. Get free food, free rent, and everything else, man. Here's the deal, man. Men from jail, homeless, or you're a thug, you want to come move in, your friend can move with you too, man. Free rent, you get a lease and a key. Fuck me. Piss on me, beat me. I'm home there now. You see me when I come over today and try it out,
here
try it
now.
out, man.
Try it out.
Try it out.
Try it out.
Building, try it out. You want to fucking piss on me, try it out. Seriously, applied only as fuck, man. I'm looking for hardcore guys that mean it, want to do it, and I want to deliver it. I'm a hot, white trash. Come dump, let's fuck.
So I saw that, and I was sad.
You were sad?
I was
This
sad.
guy knows what he wants.
And
Try it out, Drew.
And try it out. And home here now. And when I went and interviewed him, he just said, I'm just having fun. I'm trying to turn people on the other side. I don't really. I'm like, dude, do criminals come in here and physically abuse you? He was a little vague about it, frankly. I never got a straight answer. But he just said he really just likes playing and helping people online get off. So
What a saint, huh?
Yeah, he's a humanitarian, a great humanitarian.
Yeah.
And his apartment is
What? Looks like Barris's?
whose?
I don't know. Just a hoarder friend of mine.
Well, yeah, there's kind of hoarder stuff going on, and you had to kind of, it's hard to navigate through and stuff. And he had lots of costumes, and he had Santeria. He had he had a lot of sort of altars to the devil and things in there.
How did he react when you pissed on him?
I did not do it. I did not.
Wow.
He
So self-centered.
Yeah, he used to go down to Coney Island and had a drag show he would do, and I thought, wow, we got to resurrect that one day and go see it.
Yeah. Maybe in Austin.
Ooh, one of the live
Fly 'em out.
shows. Who knows? Try it out. Try it out.
Fly it out. Fly it out.
Ari, it's great to see you. It's been way too
You
long.
too, buddy.
Great to see you, man.
Yeah,
Good luck with
yes.
everything. Good luck with Jew and everyone else. I will see you next time. All conversations and information exchanged during participation in the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the DrDrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.
The Rock should come clean right now. He should make a video.
All right, look, oftentimes, things get intense here in the Iron Paradise, but that's good. That's real good. Back to work.
The Rock should come clean right now. He should make a video.
All right, look, oftentimes, things get intense here in the Iron Paradise, but that's good. That's real good. Back to work.
What prompted you to make that video?
Really, I made that video to prove anti-white ivory tower professors like the one in your studio wrong. I mean, this video and the others that I've made like it with Native Americans, with Mexicans, with the Chinese you just watched are irrefutable evidence that people like that professor are exactly wrong on cultural appropriation. And if we want to go back and we want to talk about the hairstyles and things, just bringing this up, I mean, I've seen people get offended by braids and say, oh, braids are a black people thing and white people can't wear braids. It's called a Dutch braid. It's from back in Nordic times, old Nordic times, with white people, with Vikings, would wear braids, yet people want to come and claim that it's some part of their culture now. No, you can't claim that something is just a part of your culture either. It's for people to share and celebrate and use so you can actually have a society that is cohesive and works together as a melting pot. Not all these different groups that can't work together because everyone's so offended. The only people who are actually offended by cultural appropriation don't really have anything else of meaning going on in their lives.
What prompted you to make that video?
Really, I made that video to prove anti-white ivory.
Fuck the Tories, dun, dun, dun. Fuck the Tories.
We saw Paddy telling Rishi Sunak to eat shit.
And the meatball. And Priti Patel can do one. They're a gang of rats, lad.
Why are people from Liverpool so politically engaged and switched on? And that's for both of you, really.
For both of us, we can say in it a different way. The government was once told to decline our city. What was it called, lad? You said it best.
A managed decline.
A managed decline. So you've got a port that can bring in so much revenue for the country, so much tourism, but you want to break us down. Why is that? Why is that? There was a woman who was a Liverpool fan called Anne, and her son died in the Hillsborough tragedy. And do you know what she said, lad? You've picked on the wrong fucking city. Fuck the...
It's not like a big deal, but I've just never said it online because it's kind of fucked up. My dog got eaten by a coyote. I loved him so fucking much.
Knees are a problem, man. Yeah. And the fact that you require your knees to do what you do, like your whole thing is.
This hot depth is unbelievable. It's like I can feel his speed.
Dad's always watching tape of me.
The accuracy.
Of me.
The endurance.
That sounds like me now.
Oh, you got wrecked. Yeah, that's you.
I don't know why the panic of others gives me comfort, or seeing someone scared makes me happy. Like, super nervous.
So the same thing that calms Jeffrey Dahmer calms you.
Yeah, it does.
100%. Smoking cannabis doesn't have to hurt for the smoothest and...
That's what stand-up. Your clips from your shit, I fucking regular. It's a bummer, but good news. Bert's not here.
He's still alive, though, right?
He is alive. It's a bummer, but so great to welcome Giannis Papas back to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I didn't tell you this, but I'll tell you now. I fucking regularly, because like a lot of people, I waste my life many times scrolling Instagram, and your clips from your shit, I watch almost every single one. You're so good at your show, and there's people, because there's comedians that I feel like, now having a podcast, like having a website, you're like, you have to, what are you doing? But then there's people you're like, oh, no, you shouldn't have one. Like, the skill set doesn't translate for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, there's awful podcasters. Some of them are very successful at stand-up, and you're like, you watch them podcast, and you're like, wow, you're dog shit as a podcaster. And then there's great podcasters, and you watch them on stage, but, like, you translate. Like, you're one of the few guys, I think the hardest thing is to fucking sit at a mic by yourself, and you can just talk. I tried that once, and I was like, never do this again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not for everyone.
No, it takes a second. Yeah, and I'm sure I've had some episodes that are just dog shit. But yeah, the more you do, the better you get. And we're totally at peak podcast. I got scammed into cleaning my water. I don't even know what that
Cleaning
means.
your water?
Yeah. Like I lived my whole life in New York City and Brooklyn, and now I live in the country, and all these new things I'm learning about. And some guy comes by, he's like, "Your water is hard. You gotta soften it.
You got soft water."
And me being like from New York, I was like, "What do you mean?
Yeah,
I gotta soften my water." I thought water. Can it get softer than water?
Yeah.
Like if someone splashes water on you, like that's the softest.
Have you felt soft water? So I have soft water at my house, and it makes you feel like there's like a guy's coming on. Like it's just 20 guys jizzing on you. It's all lubey, and you're like, you feel like you're still wet. And you're like, and that's considered. So I didn't know what that was.
So you didn't know either.
I got in, and actually, I think it was Bert came. He stayed over, and he was like, "Oh, you got soft water." I thought he meant pressure. I was like, we could dial it up. I thought he was like criticized. I took it personally.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, you have soft water. And he was right. Like, you feel like there's, you feel like there's still soap on you.
That's what it feels like.
You're like, oh, there's still, that's soft water.
I just kept washing and washing trying to get it off, and then rinsing and rinsing and rinsing, trying to get it off.
Hard water just feels like...
Hard water feels like it's cleaning you better.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm getting out of the shower.
So now you get soft water, you're like, I want the hard water back.
Yeah, I want the hard water back, dude.
Yeah.
I want that gangster water back. I don't want this, like, blue-collar water.
This
I mean, the white-collar.
poly-bi water.
Yeah. I don't want this prep school water.
This trans-ass water. I want the real shit.
I want this real hardcore public school, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody's getting bussed into that school water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want ghetto water.
Sure.
And, but anyway, the guy comes. So I guess
there's no way they're going to the projects being like, you guys' water's hard.
Yeah.
You guys want to soften the water up?
Yeah, they're not doing it. They're not. Because they'd be like, what the fuck you talking? Why you calling my water soft?
Why you calling my water? No, we want hard water, man.
You don't know who my water. My water
Wagner
comes
houses.
Yeah. So, I guess it is. So it's a real thing is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so how did they know that you had hard water?
Because
did you shower when I wasn't here? How do you fucking know?
Right. I was like, how do you know? He was like, he tested, he came out with like a test thing, and it was like purple, as if I know what that means. He's like, oh, your water's got too much titanium or whatever it is in there, sulfur, I don't know what element. I thought water was just H2O. I didn't know there was other things in there. But he's like, yeah, well water, there's other stuff in there, so you need that. I was skeptical, told him no a bunch, then finally said yeah, because he said there was a risk of pinhole leaks
like
in
Paris?
the pipes.
Oh, pinhole leaks?
In the pipes.
Oh, okay.
So he did it, and then he comes back to check, just talking about peak podcasts and how many podcasts there are and some people not being good at it. And then he comes and he checks it. He shows me how to change it, which I didn't pay attention to. I was just like, I'll just call you when I need to fix it.
Yeah.
And then he goes, do you mind if I do a little content? And I was like, excuse me? And he goes, yeah, my boss is 65. He doesn't get it. He's like, I got a water podcast. And I was like, what? And he was like, you mind if I just interview a little? I'll cut it into the podcast if I just interview you real quick and you just talk about like what it looks like, what you learned. And I was like, first of all, I wasn't paying attention to one word you said when you were teaching me what to do it. Second of all, I'm not going to be on your podcast. No. No.
Well, guess what, pal? You're on this podcast now.
And then he did a story, and then he did an interview with me, like... It was crazy. And he's going, here we go, another satisfied customer.
No way.
He's going right there. You see the bypass valves going. And then he's turning to me, and I'm like trying to get out of frame. I don't want to be on, Mick Volek and Company, Water Company podcast.
The Water Flow pod?
Yeah.
That's so funny. I think I've established? I have established this, I guess I didn't realize it, almost public persona, where people who want to talk to me look at me, and then they're like, I guess not. Like I look at people like, don't you fucking dare. And they usually start talking to me. They're like, I know you don't like to meet people. And I'm like, oh, you've been paying attention. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not into it either.
I'm not good at it.
I don't know.
I think that I know I'm not good at it, and I guess maybe it's just honestly, maybe it's just, if I can be completely honest, maybe it's just a huge insecurity where I feel like this is not going to be what you want it to be.
Right.
So I just shut it down before it happens.
Right. Right. So you're basically telling them, like, I'm not gregarious in this situation.
Yeah. Whatever you think this is going to be, it's not.
Yeah.
So let's not start.
Yeah. What do you usually do, like, when someone approaches you, I'm a fan? You just fake it, you go, thanks, man.
No, I always am nice. Yeah. I am always nice. And people go, and I get asked, can I do a picture? They go, I know you don't want to do this, but do you? I go, of course.
Yeah.
Take a picture. I guess what I hate is chit chat. I hate chit chat. I hate like, hey, so do you like it here? I'm like, at the hotel? Yeah. It's nice. And they're like, yeah, they have a place on the roof. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm staying here. I saw it.
Yeah.
And they're like, my cousin saw your show in Spokane, and I'm like, cool. And they're like, yeah, like that shit. Where I'm like,
yeah,
I just rather get to, I just have it. I like it quick.
Yeah.
But I always look. I've signed anything anyone wants me to sign. I've never said no to a photograph. I've never said no to like saying hello. I'm not like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I just genuinely get uncomfortable at awkward small chat.
Right. The
You
small
know?
chat just seems like it's
Yeah, I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird. It's like, hey man, I'm a fan, and that's good. Here's a pic, and then
I think I also see,
like we're not gonna hang out.
No.
Yeah, we're not like.
what are you doing? When they're, what are you doing after?
Yeah.
Then I'll go like, come on, come on. But like, I see someone like, because I'm so close to Bert. I see his like, he's like a guy that's running for fucking mayor.
Yeah.
So he walks in and he's like, hey guys, like to a room, and I'm like, oh my god, and he just like takes it, he embraces it, and I'm just more like,
Yeah, that makes sense with your two personalities.
yeah. I mean, when we go out together, I'm always, the whole time I'm like this. Because he walks into restaurants, hey, send over a double Tito's. Like he'll do that like across a restaurant where I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
He crowd surfs. He just crowd surfs even when he's not crowd surfing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like a dude. Like, hey, Bert, I love you. He just will try to get on the guy.
He's always
And like, okay, no.
I've always said I love attention when I'm on stage.
Right.
And I can have none when I'm off stage and be perfectly content.
Right.
Perfectly content.
I feel the same way. I'm very awkward off stage.
Yeah.
Like when someone comes up to me, I sway a lot. I
People,
start swaying.
yeah. So people sometimes interpret that as like, oh, you're mean or you're no, it's just you're just uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm not actually a dick to people in those situations. I'm just literally am like I don't know what to do. I'd really like this to wrap up so I could keep walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's kind of two types of comedians, right? There's like that extreme extrovert,
Yeah.
and then the strangely kind of shy in private, but then
You're
on
only an
stage.
extrovert with a microphone.
Yeah.
You're introverted in every other situation. So you're
Yeah.
like that too.
I'm very much like that. My first time on stage, I had a massive panic attack. Like I've had to work through social anxiety to get to perform. So first time I got on stage, I remember my arms just went numb, and I just kept repeating "thank you" because I forgot my act. I was so nervous. I just kept going "thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you."
You're like, this guy's on the spectrum.
Yeah. And then when I heard that first laugh from the amount of thank yous, for some reason that made them laugh.
Yeah.
It just relaxed me.
It's always
And then I did my shitty 5 minutes. Yeah.
They laugh because I also couldn't. People think that comedians can all do public speaking well, and you're like, if there's laughter involved,
Yeah.
serious public speaking is terrible. I mean, I got asked to speak at a wedding.
Yeah.
Not at the. I'm talking about during the ceremony to read from the. Dude, I had the lump in my throat. Heart was racing. I had to like say a line from the Bible, look up and give the audience a look, and they laughed.
Yeah.
And then I was able to read the rest of the passage.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it without a beat of comedy.
I had to just
Yeah.
to be able to breathe.
Right.
I felt like I was on the verge of being like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I can't do this.
That's
you know?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave speeches at funerals, and I just cried the whole time.
Yeah.
I couldn't get through it. I was just, I was like a kid. And
Yeah.
I couldn't get through it. Yeah.
I spoke at my
We hide behind
father's.
comedy, don't we?
Oh, 1,000%. I
Yeah.
spoke at my father's memorial service and shit on my mother, and that was what made me
Get through it?
Dude, at my father's memorial. And my cousin had just spoken, and he was crying about my dad, and I was like, look, for sure, my dad is in heaven right now. I think anyone that spends 15 minutes with my mother, let alone 45 years, deserves to go to heaven, and everyone started laughing. My mom was like flicking me off, but it made people laugh, and then I was able to speak without like having a nervous breakdown. I actually was like pretty emotionally disconnected because I didn't want to break down
Right.
in front of everybody.
Right.
But like shitting on her and getting a laugh like made it possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was probably not happy about it, but you were like, hey,
You know what's
listen,
funny?
I had to get through this.
She was like later on. I was like, hey, about that. She was like, I have no recollection of anything that happened at that.
Wow.
She didn't remember any of it.
So
like
she
not
was-
just me, any of it. The whole memorial service.
Because she was like, morning.
In another space.
Yeah.
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 I was like, oh, she goes, what did you say? I was like, oh, forget it. It wasn't that big.
Do you find as like comedians, we're just constantly having to apologize to family members, friends, people, and then we're just like, I'm sorry. Like, you try to, if you're telling a joke about a family member, you'll try your best. You'll be like, there's this person I know who's also calls my parents. You try to disguise it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many apologies, and like, I think now too, though, they just kind of go like, after years, they're like, oh yeah, you're doing this.
Right.
This isn't like when you first start, and you're like, is this, they're, what the fuck are you doing? Like now they're like, oh no, you literally, dude, my mother called me, and she goes, who knows how long I will live. But I'm sure you'll be happy when I die because you can talk about it. And I was like, what? And I go, what? And she goes, you can do your thing. You can say, I couldn't help. This was her own original thought. I couldn't help undress my mom to dress her for the funeral. I couldn't help undress her because her tetas were so big, they were in her stomach, and I couldn't pull the shirt off. I was like, the fuck are you talking about? But I'm laughing as she's saying this. She's like, and then I start laughing. She goes, see, and then you can tell your fans, my mom is dead.
You're like, finally, you get it. You get what I do.
Yeah, I will have a new 5 when you die.
Yeah,
so
you
I
get
don't know
what
if
I
you
do.
could.
You get what I
Speed
do.
it up.
I totally prioritize my whole life as material, no matter what's happening.
Yeah.
And I use everybody for material. Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
I told my wife, I was like, part of the reason, that was like when I married her, I was like, is she a good material source?
Sure.
That's a big part of it.
It totally is.
Yeah.
And then there's also, even, I'm married to a comedian. And there was even a part early on where, like, I shit on her. And she saw it at a show and she was super offended by it. Really? And I was like, what? And she was like, is that how you feel? And I was like,
You were like, yeah?
I mean, I was like making a joke up there,
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, but is that really how you feel? I was like, well, no, it's an exaggeration, just like we exaggerate all these other things on stage.
Right.
But it took like a while, and then now it's like we both say terrible things
Right.
about each other, but it's, all these years into it. But, there is like,
Well, that's when the feelings are like not as secure.
right.
Right. So,
Right.
Yeah. It's like, was that true? Was it not? Now, you guys, you're locked in.
Yeah, and then now you're just like, you can be on stage like, please die. And she's like, that was a good one.
Tis the season for clean balls. Fa la 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 la. Our friends at Manscaped are helping you clear your driveway for safe travels this holiday season. From stocking stuffers to white elephants, Manscaped's products are top of everyone's wish list. Grab some crop mops for your pops or the body buffer for a holiday lover. Win this year's white elephant gift and help all the men in your life go from eggnog to nice hog this December and save 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/bears. All you need to know is their Platinum Package 4.0 presents all the presents that are great for a stocking stuffer. You've got the shampoos, the body wash, the gels, the exfoliants, absolutely everything they need to keep it clean. You get the Shears 2.0. That is their full kit for nail care, the scissors, clippers, tweezers, a file for the traveling man. The Preserve Cologne that brings a light, breezy, woodsy feel. The Body Buffer where you can throw out that old loofah. And the Lawnmower 4.0. This electric razor is with advanced skin-safe technology, is a life changer, and is known for reducing nicks and cuts on Santa's sack. Save 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/bears. That's right, 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/bears. Manscaped, for a perfect gift that will be the biggest holiday hit.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Unfortunately, life doesn't come with a user manual, so when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure, whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. BetterHelp has connected over 3 million people with licensed therapists. It's convenient and accessible anywhere, 100% online. I love therapy. I don't know what I would do without it. I've been doing it for years now. And listen, as the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/bears. That's BetterHelp.com/bears.
It's such a way to get through everything, comedy. It really is just a way to deal with everything, from like the most deepest philosophical query to just like the most mundane, you know, giving a speech at a funeral. It just gets you through.
And then you see like how it really, I mean, like, it sounds super lame, but how it really actually helps people who, like, we're used to, like, we are comedians, but we're around comedians, and you see how, like, cathartic it is to, like, sit with somebody and they make any comment, whether it's on their personal life or culture or the world, and you go like, like, it just feels so good. And somebody who's not around that all the time and then gets a dose of it from you or from one of your friends, you're like, oh, it really does diffuse and help get through the moment or the day.
It does,
you know? 'Cause my favorite, I think the sweetest messages I've ever received, like the ones where I go, are when people are like, this helped me, like, whatever you said on a stand-up or on a, like, help me get through this time. I used to be like, oh, but now I feel like I kind of register it more. I'm like, oh yeah, they're not exposed to that.
Right.
No one around them is saying the shit that you say.
Yeah.
You know?
I've gotten messages too like that about, my family's sick or whatever, and your comedy helped me. And you get detached from them. You're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Me talking about, you know, ass or whatever?
Yeah. Helped you.
Okay. Yeah,
sure, man.
Yeah. It does. It really does. It does. And you can tell when you ever see an audience walk in and then walk out of a show?
Yes.
They like walk in and they're like, their body language is all like carrying what their boss said.
Yeah.
How somebody smelled on the subway. It's like all on their disposition.
Sure.
And then they leave and they just look like
loose.
They look loose.
People used to message me all the time. You still see them sometimes. They used to go like, I got laid after your show. And you're always like, what? And they're like, yeah. Like, you just kind of like made everybody, you know, relax.
Yeah.
We laughed and then we went home and hooked up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's cool. All right.
Probably helps with the game too. Like, you know, he's not as stiff. He's coming with a little bit more of a loose, happy vibe. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you did the work for him.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You should get a little tug too.
Yeah.
But it's not like the guy's that fucking good.
Yeah.
Hook me up. Yeah. Speaking of game, I went and saw Chris Rock.
I saw you post that, yeah. And you said he was still on his game.
I mean, I think it's his best set in 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like everything that you fell in love with about him as a comedian, it was that. I mean, he was just fucking hitting home runs, and it was everything. It was like pop culture, politics, race, sex, personal stuff, you know, just boom, boom, boom. And he did a super long set. And you realize this can be cut down to, it's going to be fireworks, dude.
He was really the guy that made comedy hot again. Dude. Like, it's really like, people, you know, forget. I mean, it just seems like people forget about how important that Bring the Pain was to sort of.
I talk about it all the time because it just, I think it's our age, because I think we're the same age or close. It's like, I was I think a junior in high school. So it's like, you think about a male forming his sensibilities and that comes out, it like never leaves you.
No.
You'll never forget. I mean, I've liked so many comedians since then, but like that is like always going to be like the foundation. And dude, I mean, you know, I can't repeat what I'll tell you off mic, but there were so many amazing bits. Like, he really crushed it.
That's what it was like his takes. You always remembered his takes and his insights.
Because he has this, like, everyone has like their style, their formula, you know, and his is like statement, repeat the statement. And the repetition of the statement is so the premise is explicitly clear. And then sometimes that statement is an unfavorable one, so everybody goes like, ugh. And then joke, and then breakdown of the, like, so then it's like joke, like, so then he breaks down a complicated statement with logic, so it's always like an insightful, smart thing, and just so many jokes. And he had like at least 10 members. He did an hour 45.
Wow, yeah.
It was wild.
I always, like, as you get more successful, is it harder to do comedy?
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000% it is. And I think, you know, you watch careers, even like his, have like ebbs and flows, and like he's always highly proficient. But this feels like really, like just really dialed in, man. It was really good. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is the same guy that did that special 25 years ago. It's fucking crazy.
That's inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
Back at it, yeah.
And actually, I think it's as inspiring when you're a comedian, because you go, oh, he's X number of years older. It means that you can continue to, you know, we're not athletes.
Right.
We're not models.
Right.
It means you can get better into your 50s.
Right.
And then when you think about it, I think kind of like all the best comedians are over 50.
Yeah.
That's really when they hit even their best shit.
Yeah.
Is they're in their 50s, which
Yeah.
is kind of crazy.
That
As long as you're fucking focused and not delusional and not swayed by your fame. You know, like to your point about like getting, like, I think that if you get famous, you can easily lose sight of how to do the work. And we've seen that happen to people. But I think if you don't, I mean, you know, you look at like Burr, he just fucking goes, works.
I think he makes a conscious effort too to sort of, like, I think he flew commercial for like till it got ridiculous. Where you're like, all right, come on, dude. And because you have to remain the perennial underdog in some way. Yeah, you can't be like, oh, my private plane was a little late today, guys. You know what that's like, right?
No, a lot of times I'll talk about flights and I'll pretend I fly commercial. I'll be like, the pilots came back, and they're like, the pilots? I'm like, well,
You try to make a joke from your memory of what it was like.
Yeah.
You're like, I opened the door and said hello to the pilot, and people are going like, you can't open the door anymore. Wow, he's been flying private since 9/11.
God, it's so nice. You know, I made you know who I sat right next to at a rock show was Michael Dell. Who's that? Dell Computer.
Oh, yeah.
So he's one of the, I don't know, 20 richest guys on the planet. And he was having trouble finding his seat, right? And I see him, and he's like looking, and I go, hey. And he turns, and I go, do you need cash? And he goes, what? And I go, do you need cash? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay.
I was just on the plane today. I got on, and I was in coach. I was in the last row in coach. And
I'm so sorry.
As I got on, I saw this comedian, very funny, Mateo Lane, who I'm friends with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mateo. He's so funny. And he was just sitting right up there in the front row.
Oh.
And I'm like the last on the plane. I'm sweaty, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just like, I wanted to explain, like, part of me, I saw it in his face going, oh, because his career's going amazing. Mine's not bad, but it's not like his. And I could see in his face kind of like, oh, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to say a quick hello, and then you go by. There was just, and I was tempted to, like, just start explaining it and rationalizing
real
it.
quick, I just want you to know, I got rebooked. I was going to fly on the 7 a.m.
What had happened was, you know, I'm doing Tom's podcast. He scheduled it last minute, so I transferred off my private jet because it was the only way to get here at a certain time.
And I want to be clear about something.
Yeah.
I flew at least half a dozen commercial flights this year, so don't think it's that fucking all the time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
One time I flew in that situation you're talking about, and I was in first, and Bobby Lee boarded, and he was like looking, and I go, hey, where are you sitting? As he boarded, and he goes, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And he went back to the coach seat, and I asked the flight attendant to bring him a cup of water. So you see her go back, and she's like, "He said that guy," and he was like, "Thank you." I also, by the way, I have a video. We did a tour in Canada, and we had a private jet, a charter flight. And sometimes on these flights, what'll happen is because of the way that the companies book these planes, the plane that you book, which is a nice jet, is unavailable, and they upgrade you at no cost. So in other words, they send you a better plane than you should have. And they did that on one of these. So they're like, you booked this, and we're sending you this fucking crazy jet. So we tell the flight attendant. So the jet has a capacity of like 16 passengers, and it has like multiple cabins. It's wild. I tell the pilot and the flight attendant, I go, can you go up to that small Asian man and tell him that there's a weight issue, and that to balance things out, we need him removed from the plane? And they were like, okay. And then I recorded him, and you see the pilot being like, I'm sorry, but you have to leave.
Did he do it well?
And
like he
oh yeah, he did it. And Bobby's like, okay. And he grabs his stuff. He goes, no. And then we all start laughing. He just goes, apologize. Apologize to me in front of everybody. And he turns to the pilot, and the pilot's like, I'm sorry, he told me to say, I don't know, I'm sorry.
I had eaten breakfast like in the Delta Lounge, like I was totally full.
Yeah.
And then the way the stewardess was coming around, selling food, and I bought the food.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason I bought the food was I wanted to like prove to myself I can. Yeah. I almost was gonna be like, can you just go tell Mateo that I bought some food back here?
Can you give him this on top of his food?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because, I mix it up. I'm at that mix it up stage.
Yeah.
I'm at the mix it up stage where I'll splurge if it's like a long one.
Yeah.
But if it's under $4, I'll save a couple bucks.
Dude,
and I'll crawl and coach.
I definitely, any place that like the chartering is for the crazy tour that I did. Like we go like, oh, we're doing Green Bay to Cheyenne to fucking Topeka to like all this shit. You're like, we can't even do that week commercially. But anytime I fly, like Austin to LA commercial, and even then I'll be like, yeah, but I do fly, I do charter sometimes. I'll tell people that I charter sometimes.
Yeah, it just like feels. I just recently got TSA pre-check. I don't know why I waited so long. Yeah, I waited.
How did you wait?
I don't know. Maybe my tour schedule wasn't strong enough for me to consider it.
Have you done greeters yet?
What's that? I was doing clear. And then I was just dealing with being online and taking my shoes off.
Please, let me set you up.
Okay.
Greeters will meet you curbside.
Ooh.
And they'll take you to the front of TSA. So everyone who's like pre-check clear will be like, we're in the special line, and they'll be like, stand back. And then they'll take you in front of them. And then they'll walk you through. So you'll skip the TSA pre-check. You'll go through a side door.
Ooh.
And then they'll walk you to the plane. And then they'll go, do you want to board first or last?
Does anyone say last?
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, who would go no last?
Fucking first.
Yeah.
And then you'll tell blind people to fucking wait. Like people with dogs. You're like, sit down. And then they'll put you on the plane first.
A couple of veterans just on crutches.
Yeah,
you're
they're
like,
like,
hold up, buddy.
And you're like, hold up.
I got greeters.
I have a few $100s. And then they put you on the plane.
It only costs a couple $100?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
It's the shit.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had to go get TSA. You have to go, and I went to a Staples because that's where they do it. And the guy had seen me on podcast there, so that was awkward.
Yeah.
That was really awkward because he was giving me that same vibe, like, don't you fly a lot?
Yeah.
It was, and
it is so worth it.
Yeah, it is.
It's a game changer.
It is worth it. And
you realize so many people will go like, whatever, a couple $100, not worth it. And you're like, you're insane.
Yeah.
And then you get the benefit of that.
The problem with Clear now, though, is like everyone has it.
Exactly.
So then you get on the line and you're just on another line.
Which is why you're going to spend.
And then you just see everyone on the Clear line doing the same thing, going, what the everyone's looking at each other going, what's the point of this?
You're going to spend the few hundred for the greeter.
I'm going greeters.
You're going greeters all the way, dude.
Do I have to go to a Staples to get it done again? Or? No?
No.
You know a guy?
I'll give you the number.
All right, great. Yeah.
You're all set.
Yeah. All right, I'm doing greeters from
Big
now on.
flex.
Yeah.
You walk through there.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's the best.
I'll still do a coach here and there.
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah,
sure.
here and there.
But also on a hectic, crazy morning, it's worth it. Like when you're flying out of like if you're flying out of Orlando, you're like, fuck this. When it's always chaos there, or if you're doing vacation, your family or something.
Yeah.
It's so worth it.
I'm gonna do it. Do it. It's just worth it. Just less anxiety.
Exactly.
Less anxiety.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes I'll spring for like a first class, is just so I can feel like I got a little more room. If I want to fall asleep, I have a little more room. Because there's been times, has this ever happened to you, where I've fallen asleep on the plane and I woke up and like I feel like I'm dying? Like, has that ever happened? Like I'll have half my arms will be numb and I'll just feel like I'm not getting oxygen. And
like a serious panic.
Yeah,
thing?
And I don't know if that's panic or if I have a heart problem.
I have woken up on flights being like, I think we're gonna crash,
right?
And then I go and I accept it.
Yeah,
let's just die.
Yeah,
let's just die right now,
dude. That happened to me once. A bad one. I had a bad one once where we were flying into a small airport, and the plane, there was so much wind that as we were coming down, the plane kind of went like on its side, like completely did like the plane was listening to Fat Joe Lean Back, like it kind of just did like a. And then there was this, everyone on the plane started freaking out, and this girl next to me started going, like you could tell she was like the type of girl who'd never been through anything in her entire life, and she started going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and she looked at me and she goes, what's happening? And I was like,
turbulence.
I'm sitting in a middle seat on a JetBlue flight.
With you, lady.
Yeah, I don't know we're about to die, I guess. I don't know. I don't have any answers for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And
I don't know why the panic of others gives me comfort. Like if I see people freaking out, I just go like, yeah. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
It has the opposite. It doesn't.
It calms you.
It calms me down.
Yeah.
Seeing people lose their shit makes me relax. Or seeing someone scared makes me happy.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody, super nervous.
So the same thing that calms Jeffrey Dahmer calms you.
Yeah, it does. It does.
The most wonderful time of the year is also the most hectic time of the year. Everyone puts off shopping until the last minute. And if you have an online store like I do, you know that getting hit with a ton of orders all at once can be a game changer. You get buried in orders and emails from stressed customers who all they want is the stuff they purchased from you. Take it from me. This is the biggest time of our year over at BurtBurtBurt.com. We have tons of merch. I know 60-day raw fish is so massive Black Friday sale right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But that didn't happen that way.
And also, like, can you imagine like the turbulence part where you're like, just do it, and she's like, do what? And you're like, grab my dick. And she's like, what?
We're all thinking the same thing. Yeah. Let's just start hooking out. That would be funny though if everyone did that and then the plane just lands safely and everyone's just like, all right, that was weird.
It's right as you come.
Yeah.
It's just like, and you're like, you did it. I don't know. The thing is, can you get aroused in that situation? That's really
well. I know you can.
I can.
Yeah, you be calm as a cucumber.
I get super aroused on flights.
Yeah,
you know that's the thing. Yeah, I have hard-ons like most flights.
It's a thing too.
Well, here's the thing. Look up sexual arousal on flights, and apparently, there's somebody sent me an article on this. There's theories on. I mean, maybe that I don't know.
I used to get aroused by the stewardesses, but I don't think they hire anyone under 60 now.
Now they're fucking dogs.
Yeah.
But back in the day, but there's all these. Like it could be the adrenaline rush that comes from flying can also mimic the feelings of sexual excitement.
So you're just sitting there rock hard.
A lot of times, yeah. I've even had, not what I wanted, but I've fallen asleep, very aroused, kind of napped, wake up fully aroused, and even had like the male flight attendant go, "Did you have a nice nap?" Like that, where I'm like, "Huh?"
He saw it.
Yeah, he saw it.
Yeah. That's hilarious. You just sleep in it with a Woody. Yeah.
This article actually broke down too that maybe it's a lack of. In other words, you're flying. There's no inhibition. There's no control. You're out of control completely. So maybe that does something to you psychologically. You know what I mean? Where like you can't control anything that happens over the next couple hours, however long this flight is, and so that might contribute to it. But apparently, it's not completely. It's not a rare thing that some people do this. So I've always had this where I'm on. Look, it puts us in a novel environment, breaks us out of our regular routineness, heightened state of generalized arousal. But this is a thing for me where I'm always fired up on flights, and it literally, I can be at a 0 pre-flight and a 0 afterwards.
It's just when you're up there.
Yeah.
So it's the out of control thing.
I think maybe.
You ever thought about looking into getting kicked in the nuts and seeing how that goes? This might be like the marijuana to your.
I have sensitive nuts though. I like a light graze.
You like a graze?
Yeah, I like nails and a gentle flick.
Yeah.
I don't like those.
Me neither.
No.
I don't like.
I don't see how guys can take the stomping without vomiting uncontrollably.
Yeah.
I mean, you could like hit it like that, and I'd be like, hold on, and I'd be on the ground.
Yeah.
How do these guys take full kicks?
It just shows you the power of like human psychology, that the feeling of being out of control or being like.
But doesn't that physically take you out?
It's got to. I don't know. I mean, I've watched it.
I
happen.
could take, there's things that I'm open to. A pinch, spank, slap, where you go, okay.
Dildo in the butt, things
yeah,
like that.
Man. Yeah. 6-inch cock in your mouth. Something that's different. But I mean, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Full kick or stomp on the nut, and the guy's like, thank you. And you're like, are you not sick right now?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's the one where I go, I have no idea how you're able to. I understand big slap, like even the full paddle spanks or whipping. You're like, I get it. I mean, that might be too much for me with this guy, but I get it. But the nut stuff, I'm just like, I mean, I guess it's because my own physical tolerance for it is so low.
Yeah, but you would figure every guy's physical.
I would think so.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I thought that was universal, that all of us.
Even MMA fighters who are the toughest guys. Double over when that happens.
And there's guys out there who are like, well, I would like to come, so if you don't mind,
Yeah.
stomp on my balls.
Yeah. It's funny that an MMA fighter will double over in pain and gets 5 minutes, but like some CEO of GE will be like, do it again.
Do it again. Yeah.
Do it again so I can feel balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always like the richest guys, most powerful guys too. Because that would just be mean kicking like a poor guy in the nuts. You're like, life's already going down.
Yeah, you're right. That is a total, like the psychology of that adds up, right? So super rich and powerful guy is always in control. So he goes, I surrender the control. Do what you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's to get balanced out. I think we're like always seeking some sort of
Well, it's also
balance.
I make like a guy like CEO. His life is I make every decision. Everybody goes, how about this? And then he has to decide, right? And as soon as that person walks out of the room, 2 more people come in. We need to know what to do with he. And so he's just decision. So what you're doing in that situation is you're really saying, you make the decisions, and I'm just going to go along with it. And that person goes, I'm going to kick you in the fucking balls. Just crazy. And he's just like, okay.
Yeah. And he likes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So something overrides the physical.
But maybe it's that. It's exactly what you're saying. It's not that he loves the sensation of getting kicked in the balls. It's that he loves that someone decided to do it.
Right. I think so.
That's where it's tied in, right?
Yeah.
It's that somebody's going, I have decided something, and you're fucking going with it.
Yeah.
Because I make the decisions around here.
Right. It's almost like a break. It's like a vacation from having to make all the decisions. Yeah.
And that's what they always talk about.
And it's
like
the most extreme.
The most extreme.
Yeah.
They always talk about a sense of like a release. That at the end of those sessions, like with DOMs and stuff, that they're like they just, they're just completely spent.
Yeah.
With oh my god, I didn't have to make any calls.
Yeah. It's like going to a spa for them.
Yeah.
It's like getting kicked in the nuts. Is the way an ordinary person would feel after a nice massage and a facial. You're like, nah, dude, I took 27 hard stilettos to the Franks and Beans.
Dude, I've seen those and I'm like, how are you able to do this?
Yeah, I've seen the ones where, like, the videos where she's stomping on them with
Oh,
the
yeah.
stiletto.
Oh, we have them.
Yeah, and the guys just rock hard like this. You're going, Jesus Christ, man.
I saw one we watched. watched on your mom's house where this lady was lining up, and it was like, it's the fourth quarter, and if she can make this 53-yard field goal, we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, she lined up and fucking gave it everything, and this guy's like, and then she's like, back up, and he stands back up, and his legs are shaking, and then she's just like, look at this blood. Yes, yeah, like,
Oh, it's bleeding?
Bleeding, and she's just like, and he's just like, right back up, like, yeah, do it again. Yeah.
Sexual peccadillos are, they're just
fucking
fascinating and funny. It's really, it's funny. I remember one of the first things me and my buddy filmed was this video called Slavercise. It was this dominatrix trying to make an exercise video, and she used her real slaves, but they all like wore masks. They were all like CEOs of whatever, and yeah, she had them in like, you know, like ballerina outfits. Yeah, you see these guys like Lexus Jeep, and they get out with like a kitten mask on, and then a ballerina outfit, and then they would exercise. And what she would do is she was just like, they would obviously exercise wrong on purpose, so then they could get the discipline. And that was the point of her slavery.
That's a very funny concept.
Yeah, it's like, I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, I don't think any of them are going to want to get in shape because they're just going to want to do it wrong. So you come over and whip them.
I would love to misbehave for my, you know, for my dom.
Yeah.
That would be my punishment.
Yeah. It's backwards.
So many of those things are unexplored for people too, which is really fascinating. That they'll.
I don't want to open those doors.
I know, but it's like people who, you know, you're living into your 40s and 50s and then like never trying anything. You know, you see people that are so.
What's the point of freedom without it?
Yeah. I'm like, fucking leave the country if you're gonna be like that.
Yeah. Go to a communist country, dude. If you want to be told what to come to.
Dude, tell her what you like, man.
Yeah, and there's just so many things that can open the door for you now on the internet. You can just, if you get a little too curious, you ever go to something and feel a little tingle and then you just turn it off real quick. You're like, and then you just go back and just let me see something missionary, male, female. Yeah. Clearly male, female. Yeah, that's clearly a male and a female.
Wait, let me see.
Yeah. Because transport blurs the lines.
Yeah.
It blurs the lines a little bit. Yeah. Some of those ladies are like fantastic looking.
Well, you've seen those. You ever get sent the? It's like a little, like a GIF or a meme where it shows this absolutely drop dead gorgeous woman who's like looking in the camera, right? And she's like super. And you're like, God damn, what is she? And then like camera pans down, you see like perfect tits, navel, and then she like has like a little wrap on. She opens it, and there's like an 8-inch dick.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And they're like this like gorgeous woman with a huge cock.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this supposed to do to me?
That's why I took the vaccine so many times. Because I'm like, yo, if science could do that, I trust in science.
Yeah.
I took a guy, and then you see those before pictures, like if you see their high school pictures, and it's just some guy named Steve with braces, and he's just a guy, and then you look at it and you're like, science did that, they could come up with a vaccine that works.
Yeah.
If it makes me want to fuck Steve, then it could definitely give me a vaccine that could protect me against
This
COVID.
is the first time I've heard this point of view. I'm really into it.
People don't think about it enough. Yeah. I mean, science did that, dude. They create women out of guys, which is the opposite of a woman.
And where they can fool you. That's the thing, is when you're fooled completely. When you know, it's like sometimes when you see a trans woman, you're like, you know, I'll be respectful. Like, hey, cool that you did that.
Yeah, you try to pretend like you don't see certain things.
You're being polite. It's just the same way you talk to like your friend's grandmother. You're like, hello.
Yeah.
Like, you're just nice. You know? and then like, you're just being nice. It's like when you talk to like someone with special needs.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, how's it going?
Yeah.
So you know, they're like, I went on the roller coaster.
How'd you dated it, man?
Yeah, that's good. And then you see a trans woman who you're like, oh my god, like this is like what a spectacularly beautiful woman, and you realize that as a trans woman, that level is mind blowing.
Yeah.
And it's usually Asian. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
they are so much better at it.
There's a sweet spot of like Asian to Latino.
Yeah.
Kind of in there. If it's like too white, you're like, ooh, or if it's black, you're like, ugh. But there's like something in the middle that just kind of works. Like the middle of the equator. You go too far north, too far west. They can't pull transition off.
The right tone.
You get the right tone.
Yeah.
You
There's. I know, and I wonder too if, like, in that environment, you would just be like, "Yeah, I switched, man.
Yeah.
That's all I do now. I live in Rio, and I just fuck trans women. I don't care. Look at the.
No, Winston. We liking that script I sent?
Yeah, I'm loving the detail.
Right? You get to play the villain, but with a sensitive side.
Nice combo.
You like the fantasy angle?
I could see it so clearly.
Right, but it's in the future. Wait, are you gaming?
It just changed completely. I just wonder how it works in Foot Locker, you know? When they gotta go buy shoes.
Yeah.
Is it like, where do they, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Like if you're, because that's the one thing, the foot.
A women's 12?
Yeah, a woman's Shaq size.
If they give it away,
They have to go to the men's.
that's the thing.
section.
Here's the thing. You don't transition your hands or your feet.
Right, that's the thing.
Everything else, right? Like, I mean, you really, you luck out on like neck, on facial structure, right? Like, there's some facial structures that like help with the transition, and some, necks, things like that. Obviously, like shoulder width and all this, but your hands and your feet stay what they are.
They stay the gender you were born.
Yeah.
So does your cock. In a lot
Your
of
cock
times.
in a lot of times
Cocks
does
will
too.
also be the same as
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
That's a dead giveaway for male to female, and I think the dead giveaway for female to male is that they're still like 5'1", and their voice always like some guy will come
Stature.
in. Yeah, and then when the voice starts, you're like, it's like, hey, he says that like we represent Lollipop. Like, hey, how's it going? My name's Tom. What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, hey, so you're 5'1", 130?
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. I'm a burly guy. Played high school football. You're like, did you? Did you? With Kelly?
Yeah. What's up, dog?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, dog? Yeah, they always have that.
Speaking of trans, did you see the SNL writer has said that they're boycotting Chappelle hosting?
I did
because his transphobic jokes are equivalent to murder.
Yeah.
And like they're just sitting this one out. And you're like, you get to do that?
Yeah.
That's wild.
You get to make that leap in logic too. It's equivalent to murder.
Okay, now this says that that's not happening. I don't know. Okay. Well, I read a very clear fucking thing today that said very much the opposite. So let me see. This is on.
Yeah, it's not equivalent to murder. But when Dave Chappelle does put out a new special, the trans community does get prepared.
They really do.
Yeah, they're like, okay, here we go.
I sent it to yours, Zolo. Yeah, I saw this today and I was like,
I would have sex with a trans woman. I would just pretend like my...
Can you imagine me on a flight sitting next to a trans woman? I wouldn't be able to say no.
You'd be ready to go. All you gotta do is pretend like your dick is so big that it popped through to the other side.
Totally.
And that way it's not gay.
Okay, so just to be clear, this said, Saturday Night Live, there are reports that some writers are boycotting in protest. You're not doing the show, but none of the actors are. And then this is a Instagram story earlier this week.
Right, so she posted on her Instagram.
She posted on her Instagram that Celeste Yin said,
transphobia is murder and it should be condemned.
Right, but go to that. There it is. I'm trans and non-binary. I use they, them pronouns. Transphobia is murder. It should be condemned. That's I guess that writer, who the report said it was boycotting the show. But now,
wait, did you just use it pronouns?
Did I?
Yeah, I think you said. I think you said the report said it was boycotting the show.
My bad.
Well, I mean,
I meant it as in the report.
Right. The report
said it.
Because she's they them.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Those guys were protesting the show and you just point at them, which is her. It's like a game of who's on first.
Yeah,
really.
it's and by the way, totally logical. Makes sense. Everybody should be doing it.
Yeah, everyone should. Yeah, just
So, but the newest thing is that that's not happening. Am I right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So all the reports are like, that's not happening. Okay. Well, I was just my whole thing was actually more amazed than somebody saying I'm boycotting the so-so's host is that you're allowed to.
right.
Like if you were allowed to, if you could be like, hey, I don't like the way this guy talks about Greek, so I won't be writing on this week's show. It'd be like, are you allowed to do that?
Like yeah. Apparently, it depends on if it was Greeks, they wouldn't allow you; they'd fire you. But if it's trans, yeah, I think they killed Dave Chappelle or something like that.
Yeah.
They go, okay, we got to kill him then.
We have to kill him.
Yeah, then, that's what we got to do.
Yeah, there's protected groups that no jokes are allowed.
You're not allowed to make a joke about them, and you must call them plural pronouns.
Yeah.
If they,
Yeah.
because like, all right, I get you want to be a he, or you want to be considered a he, or you are a he. I don't want to get into it. You are a he, but there's still only one of you standing there.
Right.
So why do I gotta call you a bunch of guys?
Right. They.
Yeah. Why am I going they? It's like there's one of you.
Isn't there another pronoun that somebody could use that is not plural?
Annoying? I know it's more of an adjective, but you know what? If we're playing games with grammar, why not just go with the truth?
Annoying would like us to keep.
There goes annoying. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, there's a number of they-thems out there.
Yeah, it's really confusing. Like if you're...
Can you imagine being on set, like if you're booked on a huge movie and they're like, all right, day one, we're just going to go over some pronoun usage. Yeah. And you'd be like, I'm going back to my podcast. I quit.
Yeah, imagine having to like explain to someone if you have someone, you're picking someone up in your car who has they, them pronouns, and you're like, and they're like, are they coming? He's like, man, we don't got room in the car for them. There's only one seat. You're like, trust me, they'll fit.
They'll fit.
Yeah, fit. Yeah, we got.
What is that first one? Faye?
Faye, yeah.
Faye.
Fair.
Fair. That's a pronoun for a
Non-binary person.
Faye. Okay. Actually, I think the Z-Zim Zer thing actually kind of works.
It also works if you're warming up for improv, remember? Z's, those.
Yes,
Themself, Zerself, Ziz, Zer, Z. Zizai, her spelled H-I-O.
Your team, your town, your chairs. Never miss a moment. Watch every game from anywhere. Stream Heat Basketball on Bally Sports Plus. Start watching today.
At Men's Warehouse this holiday, find something special for that special someone. Score a new look for New Year's, or have it both ways.
I talked to the head of the psychology department at one of the countries. I am not identifying the person just because they haven't said I could.
Right.
But they are the head of the psychology department at one of the premier academic institutions in the country. Like if I told you the school, you'd be like, oh, that's a top tier school. And we're talking at this dinner about this whole phenomenon. And I was like, I was kind of embarrassed because I was ready to just be told, get dressed down, that I'm a fucking dinosaur, And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, so like, what do you think of all that? The pronoun stuff. And he goes, well, on day one of classes, like at our school, students write their name and then their email, and then right next to it, they write their pronoun. And I don't know where he's going to go yet. And I go, so what do you think of that? And he goes, when they write like they, them, and I go, yeah. He goes, it's nonsense.
Wow.
Yeah. I go, really? And he goes, yeah, but I have to go along with it. Like, I can't tell them that it's nonsense, but it is nonsense. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. But also so sad Right. It's that he has to be quiet. Yeah. And be like, oh, I don't want to get. Because academia is the place that really that shit thrives the most. Yeah. Academia is the place where they go, everything worth ridiculing, we will act like is completely logical here in this pretend bubble that doesn't represent reality. Yes. You know? That and Hollywood's another place, or show business, where people are like, oh, let's do the whole fucking charade. Academia and show business.
The two most make-believe places.
Where we will completely make believe that what you're saying. I'm Latinx.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, buddy. Yeah.
It's weird. It's gone, and it keeps going. It never ends. So it's like, because they never get satisfied. It's like their appetite for it is insatiable.
Yeah, it's insatiable.
So now you got, instead of pedophile, it's minor attracted person.
It's unfucking believable. That's they're calling them maps.
Maps, yeah. And instead of
because pedophile has a stigma.
Yes, it has a stigma. Yeah, I think it should have a stigma. I think that's an earned stigma.
I think we can switch it maybe to kid fuckers. But maps.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a couple maps over there. Don't make them feel weird.
Yeah, they're just don't. And then they got now inmate to incarcerated person, which
incarcerated person.
Yeah, because it has less of a stigma.
Yeah, it also implies that the person maybe shouldn't be incarcerated.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So there's a tone to that. That suggests
that's what they're going for.
Like not really culpable, unaccountable for what led them to be an incarcerated person.
That's the problem. Is there's no end to empathy. That's the problem. I did social work, when I first started doing comedy.
Did you?
Yeah. And the problem is, like, eventually, only people who have done social work know. You get cynical enough to know that, like, hey, man, sometimes there's just no solution.
Yeah.
Like, empathy is just like, because all you end up doing as a social worker is just checking medications. You just go, hey, let's adjust this. Okay, we'll change that with that. Like, people don't always want to be cured or can be cured. Like, I was working with a formerly homeless population, and a lot of those people, they were taken off the street in the SRO program in New York, and then they just would willingly go back out because they were more comfortable on the street. It's like that's what they wanted.
Sure.
And you can't say that, but
you know what the real thing is about? Like, it shows you the balls of these fucking people. The people that are always giving you the lectures on how to speak, and is that with Latinx or Latinx, 98% of the Latin population does not use or want to use that term. So you're talking about 2%. You're saying 2% of a group wants to say something and 98% don't. But you're telling them, no, this is what you are. It's like, it feels like colonialism. Like, it feels like a people landing and going, this is what you'll use, this is what you'll say, here's what you'll worship. And you have literal, like, Latino people just going, like, we don't use that, we don't want to use that. And they go, we're going to tell you to use it.
Yeah.
And you should accept this.
Yeah.
2%. The 2% is, probably teens, people that are growing up in this generation. They go, no, we want to be, and you're like, yeah, but nobody else. 2% of the population fucks dogs. We don't change all of our, rule to, like, how about the whole thing where we go with the majority?
Right.
The majority of people have said, we don't want to use this term. Who are those people? It's not white people voting for them. They're actual Latin people. And by the way, Latin is gender neutral.
Right.
You don't need to add the X.
I always wondered that. Yeah.
Latin is gender neutral. You say Latin America.
Right.
There are Latin people here. And the language that they speak is a language that you must use masculine and or feminine words. All words have this variability to them. And they're like, no. We'll X that out. It's like, huh? This is how they speak. You're putting on them a whole rule that they have not subscribed to.
Right.
It's so arrogant is what it is. It reeks of arrogance, and it's why white women are the worst. They're just the worst.
It's a good example of how ridiculous it is people of color, right? So you remember when color, like, you can't say colored anymore. Like, colored was bad, but now it's like back as good.
Right.
So you're like,
love color.
Yeah, people. You're like, I thought that's not what we wanted.
And most black people, you mean, go, I'm black.
Yeah, I'm black. Yeah. And I go, no, you're a person of color.
Person of color.
You're a BIPOC.
Yeah.
You go, why can't
self-doubt. And let me tell you, somebody who has no idea what you've gone through. Let me tell you.
You're the first black person I've met. I mean, person of color. Yeah.
Person of color. Yeah. I know. That really, like,
I don't know what they think it accomplishes either. Like,
it's just softer and it's vague and it makes you go, which color? So, you know, just fucking lead with black so I know what color I'm talking to.
Yeah.
You know? Person of color. Which fucking color?
Yeah.
It's just somebody go, well, I'm olive.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And even if you were on the phone with someone and you know they're black, you have to pretend like you know. You don't. Yeah. Because you clearly can't tell.
You can tell in seconds.
In about a half a second. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah.
Customer service.
You could just tell. They have a different, like, soulful way of talking. It's just kind of a different rhythm.
Right away.
Yeah, right away. Without a doubt. Yeah.
Can I help you?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh boy, this is going to take a while.
Okay, Winston, what do you think of the rom-com script?
Oh, great. Really beautiful. And the explosions, so realistic.
You're gaming again, aren't you?
Maybe.
Go ahead, break it down real low. Stop playing with it. Green light, go.
It's your right to know the price, safety, and quality of your healthcare. Make informed healthcare decisions. Move your health forward with Healthcare Made Clear at MHS.net/clear.
Yeah. You know, or if you get the one from like a million miles away in India.
Mr. Papa, we are very happy for your commitment to our company.
You're like, I can't shit. I'm gonna spend half the time just trying to figure out.
Like, do you have a friend there?
Yeah.
You talk to.
Isn't it shocking when you actually get someone who's just like, hello? And you're like, what? And you hold on to them, like, wait, can I talk to you longer?
Yeah. You're like, where are you? You're like, Charlotte?
Yeah.
You're in fucking America?
Yeah, it's rare. It's rare. It's usually Indian. Usually you get the Indian.
Yeah, you get the Indian. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes then sometimes it goes so smooth and you're like, hey, by the way, way to go. You really fucking nailed it on this phone.
Yeah, it's really a pleasant experience when it goes good.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. You could make anyone appreciate the smallest thing when it usually goes bad.
Yeah.
That's how you can control people.
Doesn't this make you feel, by the way, that like you'll never leave podcasting?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can't talk like this.
Talk about this stuff. Yeah.
Anywhere else.
Yeah. And it's all I want to talk about.
Yeah. Because you live in the real world.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, tomorrow you get hired by some, I don't know, fucking NBC show or something, and they're like, hey, we were listening to your thing.
Yeah.
Could you not? You're like, I think I'd rather just do that.
Yeah. They're like, okay, first episode, we want you to lead with your pronouns.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. Hey, so pick 'em. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go with hee-haw. Does that work for you? Yeah, I imagine, I think that's why I would love to see, a real Jimmy Fallon show. I'd like to see the real Jimmy Fallon
the real
show.
Fallon?
Yeah, if he was to do it, the way
he has a couple of drinks before?
Yeah, where he just plops a couple of Jamesons and chases them with Guinnesses, and then some actress comes on and he's just takes his dick out.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do the Jay Leno thing. I can't do it.
And he's like, I can't pretend to act like what you said was entertaining or
I just
funny.
can't do it.
She's like, and then I didn't think I was gonna get this dress. And he's like, who gives a fuck about your stupid dress? She's like, what? He's like, suck my dick.
He changes the egg game. Instead of just cracking eggs on each other's head, he just takes them and just starts fucking pelting them on them. You suck.
I'm always throwing these at people of color. He fucking starts egging people.
It's all pent up. He can't take it. Yeah, that would be a great show. That would bring it back.
That would bring 25 million viewers.
Yeah.
Second
In
night.
a second.
Yeah.
Everyone would tune in.
But after a week, he's just totally hungover and strung out. We can't put him on TV. He's just fucking drunk.
He's just cursing.
My wife left. Fuck you. The whole show's bleeps.
That's in his heart, you know?
Fucking hate it. There's so many goddamn Arabs in this city. And they're like, whoa!
He's $100 million. You know, you go home, you hate your wife, you're fine. Balance yourself out. $100 million. I'm sure he's got it. I'm sure it's like, I wonder what it is. Like, he's got a lot of money, so he figures out another way. Maybe he gets kicked in the balls on the weekends, you know, just to balance himself out.
He gets $16 million for hosting the show. Okay. But it's also every year.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I thought it would be more, but I guess that's not what it is anymore, huh?
Yeah. There's so much competition, right? Because there's him, there's Colbert, there's Kimmel. There's it used to be there's fucking 25 channels, so the viewership would be through the roof. I wonder who's gonna get Daily Show now that Trevor Noah's going.
Yeah. I don't know what they do. It seems like it's going to be someone not American again.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, he's great. He's very funny. He's charismatic and everything. But it always made me wonder, like, what do we not have?
There's not gonna be a white guy.
No, I can't do
There's
that.
too many white guys.
No, can't do that.
It'll be like, who could it be? Maybe somebody from the show.
Not Michael Costa.
No.
You know,
maybe like Roy Wood Jr.
It'd be funny if he asked and they just laughed in his face. They went, "Are you kidding me?"
Hassan used to do it. He did. He's a good like host.
Yeah, Hassan Minaj.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's straight, right?
Hassan?
Yeah. So that's no good.
Well, yeah.
Cal Penn would be good.
Yeah. Oh, how about Ronnie?
Ronnie could be good.
He's on the show. I don't know if he's still on the show, but he's very
still
funny.
on there, I think. Yeah,
very funny. That could be a whole different perspective. He could be really good. Yeah, I think they'll host from. I think they'll hire from within.
You think so?
I mean, it's my guess. I think it makes sense for what the show is now. I mean, it's such a great brand, and those guys that we just listed are all, you know, highly proficient, funny dudes. I think it makes sense.
I think what they might do is just give it to Zelensky.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Another comedian.
Just another comedian, but he's Ukrainian, and that right now is as hot in a press group as you can get.
Every day he opens with it. You're like, come on.
Yeah, it's like, we need more money.
Come on. By the way, what happened to that thing, huh? It's like a show that's still on.
Yeah.
Is that on? It's still on.
It's still going. Like, wow. I thought it went off the air. Yeah.
What season are we in?
It's
Six
like
seasons
it's like
in?
The Bachelor. You're like, what?
What?
They're still going? Yeah, I think it's still on the air. I think ratings are down.
Ratings are way down.
I think ratings are down, yeah.
People are even like, you know what, I guess the Russians have a point. They're kind of swaying.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, that's their border.
Yeah,
You know?
at this point, they're like, all right, guys, figure it out.
I had a guy give me a full pro-Putin speech on it.
Oh, that's fun.
And I thought he was doing a bit. That was fun.
Yeah.
Because it was at dinner, and I was like, he was like, I brought up the fact, I was like, it feels like it's not even like covered that much anymore, you know? It's an active war. They just fucking leveled a school.
Yeah.
Like, and he was like, yeah, I mean, he goes, and like, Putin always being portrayed as the bad guy, and I was like, what? And then he did this whole, like, 5-minute, like, monologue, and at the end, I was like, oh, this is real. I was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, man, let's get another drink.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know, no one knew where to go.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone's always like, making Putin out to be.
This holiday season, celebrate your way at Sprouts Farmers Market.
Yo guys, poker out another video. So there's been a bunch of demand for me to keep making leveling guides for Classic. I've already made 2, one for the Hunter and one for the Warrior, which you guys seem to like a lot, and I keep seeing comments asking me to continue making them for all the classes. Well, ask and you shall receive, brothers. I will bless you with the leveling guides that you desire. For this one, we're going to be covering the puritanical, evangelical, sermon-serving preacher we all love, the priest, the class of the Holy Book. Priests are a great endgame class, as I've stated consistently in many of the videos that I've made in the past. Alongside that, Priests are also very fast levelers, which may surprise you since people tend to think that healer classes are really hopeless in a solo leveling perspective. So let's go over exactly what you need to do to level up effectively on a priest in Classic WoW solo. Here's my priest leveling guide. Let's get into it. So firstly, really quick, your first decision is obviously going to be what race to pick. On Alliance, your choice is between Dwarf and Human. I'd suggest going Dwarf over Human for both PvE and PvP. You get access to Stoneform and Fear Ward as a Dwarf, which is clearly superior to Perception, considering that there's no arenas in Classic. In PvE, both Alliance races are great, to be honest. You don't have to go a Dwarf. Humans have increased spirit by 5%, which helps obviously with mana regeneration, and there's also a talent which converts your spirit to spell power at 25%. But dwarves bring Fear Ward, which is the free ticket to a raid spot. But you only need a couple Fear Wards in the raid in total, so not every priest has to be a dwarf, so go human if you want. As for priest-specific racial abilities, dwarfs and humans both have Desperate Prayer, which I'm sure most of you guys know because it's still in the game, and Night Elves have Star Shards. And of course you can go Night Elf Priest, but don't be a weeb. Although as a Night Elf, you can use Shadow Meld and mind control people out of the stealth like an ambush mind control and then throw them off a cliff, but I guess if you want that to be your identity as a priest, you can go Night Elf, but I wouldn't suggest it if you're tryharding. For Horde, you have Trolls and Undead. I'd say it's way more clear-cut here. If you want to focus on PvP, people always tend to go Undead. I mean, in the history of WoW, Horde PvPers always tend to go Undead. You'll get access to Will of the Forsaken for dropping out of Fears and Charms, and you get Devouring Plague, which is an Undead Priest-specific ability, which is a decently strong dot that you could stack alongside your Shadow Word Pain. And of course you got Cannibalize, which is pretty cool too, right? Now when it comes to Troll, I'd say they're a highly underrated PvP race when it comes to being a Shadow Priest. With the spell that they have going up, in your early levels, you'll be splitting up your talent points between Discipline and Shadow. The two most important leveling talents in general are actually in the first tier talent slot for both of those trees. So your first 10 talent points from level 10 to level 20, of course, will be going 5 into Shadow and 5 into Discipline. The Shadow talent that you're going for is called Spirit Tap, which gives you a 100% chance to gain 100% bonus Spirit, allowing you to use your wand more effectively, which means that you can just use it more often and save mana by not actually casting spells to finish off your enemies and just using it Mind Flay, because it won't outperform your Smite until rank 3. In your late level 30s, you can also opt to respec and push deeper into the Shadow Tree in order to prioritize more damage and just get a couple base talents in Discipline. You're of course going to be getting improved wands, and you could push a bit further beyond that. It depends on what you're comfortable with. If you want to drop the mid-tier Discipline talents that you prioritized early for the mid-tier Shadow talents at that point, it's a pretty good idea, but it is fine either way. You aren't absolutely forced to respec Shadow at that point. You can just build on top of the early talents that you already selected. But in general, I'd say respecing into Shadow from level 36 to level 40 is probably the best route to go, and just take improved wands and the basic little things that you need in Discipline and focus deeper into Shadow. Now just a little tidbit addition here in relation to the first tier Shadow talent that we spoke about, named Spirit Tap. This makes Spirit your #1 priority while leveling up, even over Intellect in terms of itemization. You want to be stacking as much Spirit as possible due to how the effectiveness of the stat becomes inflated with that talent. Leveling up, even over Intellect, take improved wands and the basic little things that you need in Discipline and focus deeper into Shadow. Now just a little tidbit addition here in relation to the first tier Shadow talent that we spoke about, named Spirit Tap. This makes Spirit your #1 priority while leveling up, even over Intellect in terms of itemization. You want to be stacking as much Spirit as possible due to how the effectiveness of the stat becomes inflated with that talent. Passive mana regen is your #1 priority while leveling to increase your pace. Alright, so now that you understand the strength of Spirit Tap and wands and how that affects your leveling process, let's transition that into the preferred attack rotation that you want to be using while blasting your way through mobs. So the first thing you do, regardless of your talent build, you pretty much always do this, is throw a shield on yourself, and situationally stack a renew on top of that shield as well. But keep in mind that you don't want to renew yourself if you're at full HP already with the shield applied. I mean, if you renewed yourself with an extra shield on top and you're full HP, the majority of that renew, the ticks, will probably just go to waste and end up overhealing you. At that point, cast it on yourself later once the shield's broken, and you can pop it on yourself to just have a passive heal going while you're taking strikes from the enemy mob. The next part is engaging the mob. So at first, you cast a smite into a Shadow Word Pain on the target, followed by wand damage to just finish the target alongside your Shadow Word Pain taste. So you just have that passive damage going from your dot to Shadow Word Pain with the wand strikes going in over and over and over again, and that's why the improved wand talent is so important. But as you level, you get access to 2